or in government. But in fact, when God decided to become a human being, he chose to become a teacher and work with students for 3.5 years, just about a college career. This is no small point, even though most Christians, even many Adventists, ignore it. But those Christians who remember that Jesus was a teacher have been building schools and establishing universities ever since. And this is my first point. If you really want to change the world, don't do it with money, power, and politics. It doesn't work. If you don't believe it, listening to the evening news will convince you. Do it with education. Jesus did. And we offer Christian education in his honor. It's the only way to effect lasting change in the world, and that's why we are here. Second, Christian education focuses on people, not subjects. Here at Andrews we teach biology, literature, architecture, music, and so on and so forth. We teach that, but we educate people. This may seem like a silly distinction to some of you, but it is actually very important. The world is what it is. We know something about it. Not too much actually, we learn more every day. But in fact, our knowledge of the world is limited and fragmentary. Not so long ago, I met a high official and administrator at the Mayo Clinic. That's in Minnesota, but it has branches in Arizona and in Florida. We talked about the cost of healthcare. And by the way, the Mayo Clinic is now recognized as a healthcare provider that is highly efficient. President Obama is looking towards that as a model for the rest of us. We'll see. How much, I asked this administrator, how much do we know about the subject of medicine these days? Oh, he responded, on a yardstick, we have mastered about 5 inches worth. And 3 of them we learned the last 25 years. So what are we teachers and students to do? We can only teach the fragments we know about God's world. And so we focus on educating people instead. Yes, the subjects we study are partial and fragmentary, but the people we educate are made whole. That is why secular education is not such a good idea. It tends to think of people as fragmented and our knowledge as whole. But in Christian education, we think of people as whole, made in the image of God, even though our knowledge of the world is fragmented and partial. And this is my second point. Christian education promises to make people whole, even in a world that is fragmented and limited. Number 3. Christian education really longs to prepare graduates with character. But what is it? Several years ago, I spoke with a vice president in a very large corporation here in the state of Michigan. I spoke about our Andrews graduates. Oh yes, she observed, yes, she was a woman vice president, we really like your graduates. Right, you are, I replied. We have some very good graduates from our science departments. I'm sure they will do well working for you. Well, they do, she replied, and they are smart, but that's not the only reason we like them. Here's the rest of the story. And this is what she said. Your graduates at Andrews tend to be committed to their families. They tend to attend church. They cooperate with their colleagues rather than compete with them. They stick around. They support the community. They are reliable. We can count on them. That's character. And that is why we like to hire your graduates more than any others. A few months ago, the president of the Ohio State University complained in a public address about those critics who insist that college and university administrators should run their institutions more like businesses. Well, what kind of businesses, he asked? Like Enron, or AIG, or GM, or Washington Mutual, or Chrysler, or Lehman Brothers? How about running our colleges and universities as character makers instead? That is the core business of a Christian college or university. Our measurement of success is not based on reducing toxic assets, increasing liquidity, improving energy efficiency, increasing share prices, and so on. We measure our success in the sterling character of our graduates. Some call it ethics. What's the responsible thing to do? What's right for all concerned? What has lasting value? What is pure motive and selfless? That's the Christian college graduate. So here come some Andrews graduates. Now these are people we can rely upon. That's my third point. Christian education builds character. So, welcome to this good Christian university. You have chosen well.